Hello, my name is Piotr, and I have the pleasure to talk to you about my year-long story about applying the responsibility process in my life, in leadership, and in various activities I do. Can I have a show of hands of people who have not been familiar to the responsibility process yet? Okay, cool. So how it all started for me. I was invited to talk at AgileByExample 2018, and ahead of the conference, there was a masterclass on the subject with Christopher Avery, one of the creators of the responsibility process, which I decided to attend, kind of inspired by one of the keynotes I saw in the internet. Then, after some time, I read the book. I also signed up to an online 16-week-long course, and I did some self-practice that I will plan to share bits and pieces today. So why, in the first place, did I start working on this subject? When I saw the responsibility process, I had one of those aha moments, because I knew that the self-leadership, self-connection, self-awareness are those topics, those qualities that make a difference when I look at different leaders, and especially at those who really inspire me. I did actually quite a bunch of practice with nonviolent communication, some bits with mindfulness, but I had this experience that those topics are kind of touchy-feely, fluffy for the corporate world. And when I saw the responsibility process, my thought was, wow, that's easy. It's simple to explain, and it can be applied from the day one. So a great learning curve for the leaders in IT. So for those of you who are not familiar with the responsibility process, let me briefly introduce you to that. What you can see on the screen is a table that consists of mental states that our brain falls into when we encounter frustration. And what is important is that it's not that we are doing something right or wrong that we end up in any of those states. It simply means we are human. So to illustrate that, I'll use a story about me commuting to work by bike and some frustration I experienced while doing that. So let's start with lay blame. So, well, it's them, isn't it? It's like those stupid pedestrians who don't pay attention to me while I'm on my bike, and they just walk around with their heads in their phones, and they don't care about the world around them. The next one is justify. So we still blame, yet not other people, but the world around us. So I come from Krakow. This is how Krakow is organized. Too few bike lanes, pathwalks shares among pedestrians and bikers. Well, this is how the world is organized. That's how it has to be. The following one is, well, again, blaming, but now myself. So I'm the stupid one. That's my fault. I probably should be more cautious. I'm probably going too fast. It's all on me. The next one is obligation, which is the state of kind of being trapped, the have to, don't want to attitude. So there's only one way out, or there is no way out. I feel really entrapped in the situation I'm in. So I have to pay more attention. I have to be more cautious about the people around me. It's within my duty to, well, that's my choice, so I need to bear with the consequences. And the ultimate one, the desired one, is the state of responsibility, where you are finally acting from the space of power, choice, and freedom, and you have the influence, you can shape the world around you. And I will leave the finish line of my cycling story for later. So the beauty I see in the responsibility process is that it's about attribution of cause and effect of what happens to us. Whether I see the cause in other people, in circumstances, in the world around me, and because this is the effect that I encounter. So again, it's not about well-behaving or misbehaving. It simply means that I'm okay that I blame others. This is how my brain works. And it's not just that a concept that they developed. They actually did 20 years of study to prove that this is normal, that we blame others, that we blame the circumstances, that we blame ourselves. So it's about how our brain works. It serves us with thoughts. And this is actually the issue. It's very counterintuitive, especially in the era of rationalism, to challenge that what our brains deliver doesn't necessarily match the reality. It doesn't necessarily have to be true. It's just a thought. It's up to me whether I want to follow it or not. So, getting back to the responsibility process as a framework, looking at this table, it happens in each and every of us, whether we like it or not. It's about the awareness of this framework that allows us to gradually get to the state of responsibility. Because as Christopher puts it, below the line, so below the responsibility level, we are in a stage where we can barely cope with the problem that we are facing. It's only from the state of responsibility when we can actually start solving it. So how to work with that? There are 3 keys to the responsibility process: intention, awareness, and confront. Intention is simply the willingness to act from the state of responsibility. Awareness is understanding where I am at this process, so where my brain falls into. And confront is the willingness and ability to move from one stage to the other. So, well, those are keys. How do you use them? How you unlock the doors with them? I want to share a few things I did myself. So there is a technique called catch the ball sooner, which simply means I want to pay attention to a particular state. So for example, lay blame. I want to observe myself throughout the day and jot down every single moment when I realize I'm blaming others. And I want to congratulate myself because I managed to see it. Because it's human that I ended up in that state, but it's growing my awareness that I actually am able to see it. So I was carrying a sticky note with myself and actually giving myself a point every single time I ended up in laying blame or justify or any other state. Later on, as my practice with the framework developed, I was also giving myself 10 points when I not only noticed that I'm in lay blame, but I also managed to confront myself and move to a different state. Another technique that I found very useful is something called claiming wins. And a win is simply an intention met. So referring to the previous tool, well, my intention was to pay attention to the fact that I'm blaming others. So whenever I blamed others, I met my intention, so it's a win, success. And this tool in itself helps develop the muscle of what's my intention for any given thing. And what we did with the team leaders I work with, we actually started every leadership meeting with 3 rounds of claiming wins. So we can inspire each other, we can celebrate together, but also, and the most important bit, we focus our attention to the intentions that we had that we actually managed to meet. So it kind of all boils down to choice. This is the territory you want to end up with when acting from the responsibility. And let me show you a story. I was really frustrated with the management meetings we hold at Ocado, especially about 2 aspects of it. First of all, the way we interact with each other, and second, the lack of decision-making. So maybe it resonates with some of you at least, those meetings where all people speak, no one listens. Yeah? Anyone? Yeah. And obviously it leads to very non-conclusive discussions. So what I did is I listed down all the frustrations that I had from one meeting, from another meeting, from another meeting, and I walked myself through the responsibility process for each of them. I didn't address all of them, but I picked a few intentions that I want to hold myself on to when participating in a meeting. So when do I want to shut up? When do I want to jump in and facilitate? When do I want to interrupt? And yeah, I listed those down, a list of intentions. And what I also did is I kept reminding myself those intentions ahead of the meeting. And it also changed the way I participated. The fact that I was aware of those intentions, and it allowed me to kind of stay focused. So I expanded this practice to other meetings as well. So ahead of meeting that I'm about to attend, I try to figure out what's my intention for the meeting. How do I want to show up? How do I want to participate? And it's not new to the responsibility process either. Knowing what you want is probably helpful in getting there and in reaching what you actually want to achieve. The tools and the processes, the techniques that the responsibility process offers allow you to kind of explore and exercise the muscle of understanding what you want. So, self-practice, I mentioned claiming wins, catching the ball sooner. What I also did was some kind of frustration diary. So whenever I encountered frustration and I knew that it's not the moment when I can actually handle it, what I did is I took a note, and later on in the evening or on a weekly basis, I tried to kind of figure out what happened, what my brain served me, what were the thoughts, and how can I overcome it. So hopefully, any of those practices you will find helpful. So the journey for me with the responsibility process continues. I hope that those few bits and pieces will inspire some of you to start your own journey. You can use any of the techniques that I provided just like that. You can also watch a keynote from Christopher somewhere online. You can read the book. You can sign up to the online course that he is offering. And I think there is a missing bit, or maybe I missed it in the process. So self-empathy, the ability, actually the capability and the capacity you build within yourself to treat yourself gently. So, because I can easily imagine that when you lay blame on others, it's easy to say that it's human, but it's not that easy to do that, because you can easily jump into putting shame on you because you blame others, and then you can shame yourself because you are shaming yourself. So this kind of endless vicious circle. And self-empathy, so actually the ability to treat yourself gently and with tenderness whenever you end up in any of those states, allows you to confront yourself more easily and kind of stay focused. So sorry, I kind of fooled you with the title. We shouldn't be looking for responsible leaders because this is just a social attribution. We should be looking for leaders who are able to respond to what's happening to them, so who willingly act from the state of responsibility. So getting back to my biking story, I wasn't willing to participate in any kind of urban project to change the way Krakow do cycling, but what I did, I changed my perception. I wanted to be more joyful while cycling. So I started paying attention to all those moments when someone stopped to let me through, when someone overtook, minding the distance, and it actually boosted my joy of getting to work. So self-leadership is the quality I really preach and I find extremely valued, not only in business, but in families and in life in general. I'm a sailor, I love to sail, and what I know is that I cannot control the wind, but I can control the sails so that I can use the wind to get me to the destination I want to, which I wish to you all. Thank you.